Yeah. A.M.P. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are now tuned in to yet another Straight Drop Report special Motivation Monday edition.
Gotta get on your job, tell them haters get on your job. Motivation.
That's right, it is Motivation Monday, and Dallas Cowboys fans, your boy Amp is here on this evening to encourage you just a little bit, to give you a little bit of hope, to help you push just a little bit further in your fandom. And in case you've been hiding under a rock, the Dallas Cowboys officially announced their next head coach as none other than Brian Flying Schottenheimer. Now I know he was not the favorite candidate for a lot of y'all. He wasn't my prime candidate. Well, yeah, y'all know who mine was. That dude right there. That was my prime candidate. Because I thought he would bring a certain edge, a certain bravado, certain swag that I felt that this team was missing. I also thought that he would be able to push back on the Joneses for when they started and wanted to start to begin to meddle. And nonetheless, things didn't go that way, but I'm going to tell y'all this. There is hope in Shotty. There is hope in Shotty. You're talking about an individual who has practically been groomed for this position. And despite the fact, I want all the smoke. It's coming when I don't even ask it to. But he was groomed. Now, I know he wasn't highly sought after this go round, but I think a lot of that was because to an extent he was hidden and protected. You know, he moved from consultant to offensive coordinator who wasn't calling plays. So I know a lot of people probably looked at it like, dude, what my god doggone button at? Yeah, that one right there.
What we doing? Okay. What we doing? What we doing? Yeah. What we doing?
And it ain't even Wednesday, nonetheless. Brian Schottenheimer is somebody who, after hearing this interview that Jerry and Steven thought highly of, somebody that they respected. They respect his pedigree. And then as I predicted, as I explained, a lot of people were saying, man, you know, it'd be nice to get Pete Carroll. And when the news came out about Jerry talking to Pete, about the head coaching vacancy, I said, he is not talking to Pete to try and get Pete to come here. He's checking references. And if you listen to, we ain't going to get into the entire thing, but I'm going to play a little snippet for you. But you listen to it, you're going to be like, man, yeah, okay, all right, I can see it. I can dig it. Nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and get it popping. I'm going to go ahead and where we at? Yeah. Right about there. So I'm going to turn this music down just a little bit so y'all can hear the essence of what it is that is being said. Let's go.
We'll clap for you. Now, what we'd like to start off with is some remarks from our head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, and then we'll follow that up with questions.
Thank you, Tad. First of all, I'd like to thank Jerry, Miss Jean, Stephen, Charlotte, Jerry Jr., the entire Jones family. Over the past 3 years that I've been here, it's been really incredible to get to know them. But I would say really over the past 4 or 5 days as we've spent.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I'm glad you asked. So, ladies and gentlemen, this can be found on Dallas Cowboys YouTube. They have the entire press conference, all 1 hour and 4 minutes and 42 seconds of it. So go ahead and support them. You know, that's our squad. But I just wanted to let it be known that we are using this via the fair use principles. And without further ado, here we go.
A lot of hours together that I really realized why this organization, but most importantly, this family is so special. So thank you guys for the opportunity. From a football family, the Schottenheimers, to the Jones, thank you guys for this incredible opportunity. And I look forward to working so closely with the entire family in continuing the legacy and tradition of this football team. And the special brand that it has. I'm honored and privileged to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I'd like to just talk briefly about some of the people that we're looking for. And there's a lot of those young men in the back of the room here that, as you guys will learn from me, the Schottenheimers tend to be criers. And that just means we show our emotions. And so the type of people we're looking for that are modeled by a lot of the young men in the back that I will talk directly to them in a minute is just a special group. We're looking for world-class competitors, guys that want to compete every day to be the best versions of themselves. We are looking for people with a relentless work ethic. I was taught at a young age by my father that you can outwork people in this business. You don't belong in this organization if you don't value relationships. This business has never been about X's and O's. It's about, and when I thought about it, I can't imagine sitting up here with a better group of people, a better family to do this with. So I thank you guys for that opportunity. And lastly, the type of people that we want.
So, couldn't think of a better family to do it with than the Jones family. Now, historically, yes, the Jones family is known as one of the premium families within the organization because of the success that they had almost
in 30 fucking years.
Yeah, that family. Yeah, I know it's been a while, but hey, you can't rewrite history. It is what it is. They got 3 and they're pushing to get 4. As a fan base, we want to get 6. You got Kansas City knocking on the door of 5. Yeah. We're going to go ahead and speed this thing up.
It's a first-class organization all the way. You can't, I've never been in the big room, Jerry. Stephen, I've never been in the big room. But it's a first-class organization. But please understand this. A first-class organization is not just about the structure or the walls. It's about the way that we treat one another, about the way that we earn each other's trust and respect, and the way we just treat our fans. We treat the people that matter to us most. What I'm going to challenge these guys to do is to let their personalities shine. We've got some incredible, incredible players. We've got incredible support staff. The strength staff is here. That means the world to me. You guys took the time to come up here. But to do what we need to do, it's going to take incredible amounts of hard work, but we're going to do it together. Our team, the Dallas Cowboys, will be driven by a competitive spirit and a love for one another. Lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't thank my family. It's been an incredible journey. I've had some opportunities when I was a much younger man that I didn't feel like I was ready.
Now, for those of you who felt like, he's never been a head coach before, nobody wanted him. See, you got to listen to what he said, and I said this a couple videos. Brian Schottenheimer is an individual who knows he was groomed for what he was destined for. But he is also somebody who you can tell, because of the family that he spoke about, that family and his late father, God bless him, poured into Brian. When you pour into a child, you put so many positive things there. But one of the most important things that you put into that individual is confidence. And y'all, I'm telling you, that is something I am looking for in my head coach. I need somebody who is confident. Because far too many times over the last couple of seasons, camera pans to the sideline and you got your head coach or a coach or a player, or at some points in time, even management, ownership, sitting there with the boo-boo look on their face. But even in the midst of this press conference, when you hear Brian Schottenheimer talk, he's sitting in between Tweedledee and Tweedledum. He's got all of the press in front of him. He's got his players. He got his family. For God's sake, he's got his mom out there. So I can imagine, even though he's been in front of organizations, in front of teams before and spoken in that capacity, considering what's at stake here and the fact that he is being named a head coach, something he always dreamed of, I can imagine those palms are a little bit sweaty. Man, I hope I say the right thing. I hope I don't make a fool of myself. All of this is going on in the head. But what I like about it is he is, even in the midst of a sweaty palm situation, he is displaying confidence. That's what I want in the head coach. Now, I know a lot is to be seen, and we won't know a whole lot about Shotty until, we start to get into training camp, and, we see the players once they take the field in the preseason, how well together the organization looks. But for right now, for what we can see, he's saying the right things. He's putting a focal point on the right things. And he's already showing you that he is ready to empower his players, not belittle them. I can dig that. So we're going to fast forward on to Mr. Jones. Right about here's what he asked the question. Let's go.
Thank you. Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. This is for Jerry and Stephen. Why did you pick Brian Schottenheimer? What was it about him that you guys felt like he was the right fit for you guys?
In the almost 35 years that I've been involved with the Dallas Cowboys, I've only missed one Senior Bowl, 35 years. And I think I missed one combine in 35 years. At the NFL, over the last 4 or 5 years, the NFL, we want to come in a day early so that we can visit with prospective coaches for the future of my team and any of the teams. In 35 years.
Jerry, what the hell dude, why did you select him? Inquiring minds want to know, why did you select him? Jesus.
Years. I don't think I've ever visited with a coach. Visit with prospective coaches for the future of my team and any of the teams. In 35 years.
In 30 fucking
I don't think
years.
I've ever visited with a coach, but what in my heart and mind I wasn't having an interview. I don't think I've ever had a coach visit with me that wasn't prospectively thinking maybe someday our paths might cross. I know Jones might give me a little thought as I'm along the way. I've been around a lot of coaches. As a matter of fact, I wanted to be a coach. Except I wanted to live better than I thought coaches live. I wanted to drive a little bigger car, and I wanted to fly in an airplane. Had I known what I'm paying them now, I'd have been a damn coach. But having said that, coaching is no, and the makeup of coaches are no stranger to me. On my college team, within almost 3 years after we won the national championship, every position coach, the Johnny Majors, the Hayden Fries, the Doug Dickies, every position coach became a head coach. Barry Switzer at Oklahoma. So I've seen it when I was a pup. I have a good background in the makeup of what a coach is.
Give us a break, dude. And after all of that, he has still not told us why they picked him. I reckon he'll get to it at some point in time.
To think that you could make a decision in an interview and not have talked, if you didn't and hadn't ever communicated or had a visit, I wouldn't dare have had an interview unless I talked to many people that knew that person and had those kinds of life experiences, knew their story, if you will, Shotty, knew their story. Pat is here today. Jean, my wife, is here. Pat is Shotty's mama. When I served on the competition committee, we had many times that we were together. Jean knew Marty. Okay, we knew you. We know what osmosis is, and we know what Shotty grew up around.
Speaking of osmosis.
Not just from that, but we knew. Frankly, from the standpoint of Shotty, those X hairs crossed. Shotty might never have been in our mirror or in our view had he not joined us to be with Mike as a consultant 3 years ago, and it has been a coach.
Now, very interesting fact. Back in May of 22, I called into Boss Cowboys show, and that night I presented some information that nobody was talking about at the moment. At that point, the hire of Brian Schottenheimer, the consultant, was 2 months old, and I'm like, I ain't heard nothing about this dude. So I went looking. I went checked his resume. I was on LinkedIn and all that, and everything. And I saw the fact that he had an extensive background in offensive coaching. And I said, ooh. And I also said, man, wait a minute. They've been real quiet on Kellen this all season. I mean, church mouse quiet. And I basically that night alluded to the fact, and I wasn't even a content creator at that point, y'all. I was just what he calls an executive. I'm still an executive. But now I branched off, started my own channel, and hey, I'm looking for playmakers. So hey, right now, if you're watching this video and you still tuned in and you appreciate the content that AMP is putting before you, go ahead and hit subscribe. And that, ladies and gentlemen, makes you a playmaker, because you have decided to not be just a spectator, but you are actively taking part in not only the viewing experience, but the fan experience as well. So Jerry does a whole lot more of that. He does a whole lot more talking about a Ford Bronco and a bunch of other non-related stuff. But a lot of what I got is not wanting to change too much, but admitting that they wanted change. Okay? Knowing that Brian has a difference in philosophy as it compares to Mike McCarthy. And in the video, Jerry talks about the fact that Mike left some good things with the organization. One of those things being Brian Schottenheimer. And you'll hear Brian talk about the fact that, he wanted to be around different organizations and different people, right? To learn new things, new ideas. And he says he's learned more of what's not his typical ideal philosophy than what he has about his own philosophy. He is an individual who is what one would call flexible. I can get down with that, because that was one of the points that I made a couple of videos ago when I was talking about what makes a good coach. Flexibility and adaptability being a pair. And then when you hear the talks about what took place in the organization over the last couple of years, and some of the tweaks and things that have been made have been facilitated by Brian Schottenheimer. So yes, he might not have been necessarily out there with the play sheet and calling, but he's talking with the players. He was helping them understand their tasks and their role, what their responsibility was on a play in and play out basis. Helping operate the functionality of a practice. So yes, he is coming with zero head coaching experience. But damn it, if I had to choose somebody for that seat who didn't have it, why would I not pick the individual who's been groomed for it? See, what's sweet about Brian Schottenheimer is the fact that, and he says it in the press conference. He said, I had the best seat in the house. See, his first year as a consultant, he just sat back and watched. Provide a little input here, provide a little input there. Helping guys devise their game plan for the week and how teams might attack them. There was some tremendous value in that. And so what it did is it allowed him to get acclimated to the organization, to hear some of the frustrations of the coaches, to hear some of the frustrations of the players, to hear the directives that came from management. He got to witness all of that. And you can't tell me as an individual, if you're basically there in a advisory consulting role that you aren't thinking and formulating in your head, if it was me, this is what I would do. And the beautiful part about it is, God bless my mother, she's made a statement before, and she says, you can learn from someone else's mistakes. And there's power in that. See, Brian Schottenheimer got a front row view of Mike McCarthy and his mistakes. He admitted he's one of my best friends. They had some philosophical differences, but you hear Jerry Jones in the press conference reference the word deference. That's a form of humbleness, humility, respect for a superior figure in title. Going through the same thing at my job now. Operating in deference. I might can't stand your ass, but I'm gonna respect the position. You know how difficult that is to do? Especially when you feel and know in your heart of hearts that you can do it better than them, but because I'm respecting you in your position, I'm gonna bite my tongue, as Jerry said. There's power in that. That shows a tremendous amount of power. But not only does it show a tremendous amount of power, it shows that he can follow. And in order to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. That's another reason Jerry and Steven hired him. Because they're going to expect them to follow their instructions. Now, I'm hoping Shotty does some pushing back. And we've heard that in meetings at times he can push back. But the beautiful part about that is you can disagree with someone and still be respectful. You can have a difference of opinions. There's nothing wrong with that. We were created as individuals, as free thinkers. It's just like two people look at a portrait and may get two totally different concepts from it, two totally different meanings. It's okay. Beauty lies in the eye of the beholder. And that's what took place. Hey, Mike had a vision for what he thought this team should be, what it should look like. That wasn't what was best for us. Jerry admitted he felt it was time for a change. That's cool too. But you know how they say, as much as things change, they stay the same. And I guess for the Dallas Cowboys, that's what it's going to be. Now, I've had a lot of people today ask me, hey, how you feel about the Shotty hire? What's your thoughts? What's your feelings? And I said, you know what? Honestly and truthfully, y'all, I don't have any feelings about it. Now, do I think he has potential? Do I think he can be successful in that position? Absolutely. Again, groomed for it. He has a pedigree for it. He's shown that he can be successful at following. And whether y'all want to or not, we have to trust him to be a good leader. A leader of men. Somebody who commands and demands respect, effort, hard work. He said, we're going to be committed and invested to you all every day in reference to the players. He said the type of people we're looking for is people who love to compete, people who love football. And then he says, if you find yourself not being a competitor or loving football, you might be in the wrong business. He talked about Dak when he's there late. And running into Dak still in the building, still receiving treatment, still doing prep work. He praised him for how he prepares. He said he prepares like no other. And that's one thing I know about Ford. He's going to prepare. Now, going forward, we have our head coach. It's going to be imperative that the Jones family not only gives Brian, I almost said Mike McCarthy, not only gives Brian Schottenheimer the keys to the whip, but give him a full tank of gas. They alluded to the fact that they may not have done that to the best of their abilities. They might not have acquired the talent that they needed to. Talking about Philly and how they've acquired players, he said it's something worth looking at. Because guess what? As the thumbnail said, we targeting the ops, y'all. And in case y'all hadn't noticed, Philly will be playing in the Super Bowl in about 13 days. It makes me sick to my stomach. I hate them to the core. Can't stand them. I hate Washington too, but I kind of would have preferred them because Philly fans are so goddamn obnoxious. It makes no sense. I walked into work today and all I heard was that goddamn fly, Eagles, fly. Man, the hell with that song. I hope Patty buried their ass. But again, y'all, you got to give them the keys and a full tank of gas. So our job, where our role comes in, is going forward, we got to be loud. And we can't be loud after the fact. We can't be loud after a fumbled all in. We got to be loud on the front end. See, I gave this beautiful analogy earlier. And I said, anybody who's ever, been in their yard and, tried to get the grass nice and everything, there are different types of treatments as far as unwanted weeds are concerned, right? And you got front end, you got back end. You got what they call a pre-emergent, and then you got your regular weed and feed. Weed and feed is what you give after the weeds done sprouted up, took hold, etc., whatever. Pre-emergent is what you put down at the beginning of the season or just before the season to prevent those weeds from even growing to a head. See, that's what we got to do. We, as Cowboy fans, we got to start putting down the pre-emergent now. This whole more with less thing, we got to kill that weed. I know Dak Prescott is our franchise quarterback, but Jalen Hurts is Philly's franchise quarterback, and look at all the damn weapons he has. We got to continue to lay down the pre-emergent for all of these bad ideas and philosophies. Not targeting your stars, that kind of stuff. Oh, the running game is outdated. It's ancient. Nobody does that anymore. We got to lay out the pre-emergent for weeds like that to prevent them from growing ahead and taking root in Cowboys Nation. See, if we wait till those things start to take a head and take root, see, that's not the rooted that we're looking for. Because, see, once the weeds take root, then guess what? It starts to choke out the grass. It chokes out your flowers. It gets in your flower bed, killing everything that's good. And unfortunately, as much success as we've had over the last couple of seasons, the reason why we didn't succeed to the level that we did is because of weed-like philosophies and ideologies. So, hey, y'all continue to watch your boy Amp, because guess what? I'm bringing the weed whacker, because at the end of the day, it's good, better, best, and never let it rest until your good becomes your better and your better becomes your best. Until next time, Cowboys Nation, I know it's been a long time coming.
In 30 fucking years.
To be exact, but change gonna come. Y'all be blessed.
Gotta get on your job, tell them haters get on your job. Motivation.